أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على نبينا سيدنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. As we heard the sad news of Sayyid Abdul Hussain, the son of Agha Hussain Shushtari, who died in Tehran, definitely we will have to recall that illustrious part of history which we had in Zanzibar when Agha Abdul Hussain and Agha Hussain Shushtari served the community for so long. In the early 30s, 40s, and that was the family to which we are always indebted and beholden. For him and other marhuma Abida Rizvi, please recite Surah Fatiha. As the Friday lectures are supposed to be not only to dealing with the world hereinafter, but our problems in this world as well, I must mention that this particular speech which was just delivered by Asghar Sharif deals with one of the most important problems of the community that we are facing at the moment. It should not be taken lightly. It was not just one speech on a given Friday. For every young man and woman who has now reached that stage where he has got to decide the career, this is the right approach, where the aptitude is tested and the correct guidelines are given. This builds our future. Because of my experience, I can tell you that there have been cases where someone just makes a selection or a choice of a particular course because his friend has done it, or a relative has done it, or it has become very common and it is understood that this is one of the most lucrative career, or sometimes it is simply related with money as to how much I will earn out of it. All those criteria are useless. The only criterion is find out what you are cut for, what is your aptitude, and what you can make of yourself in life. If Allah wishes you to be wealthy, He will grant you. But that is something else. How many Angutha chaps have become millionaire? I know of people who do not know even how to sign. And if they sign in Gujarati. And the banker had to accept the Gujarati signature because of the money the man had. And there was no education. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives according to His wish, not according to my wish. But education is something else. It makes a man. It gives him profound way of thinking. It broadens his horizon and her horizon. And that is the reason why a correct choice with correct guideline, which is available in this country, is very important. Those who have not been here tonight, please let them know through friends that this particular meeting or seminar is of utmost importance for the future of our community. And for those who are organizing this, my sincere words of appreciation. It's a wonderful work that is being done. While I am sitting before you, there's nothing but heartache and pain in my mind. For when I was in Washington last week, while we were having dinner, someone stood up to read from the paper that 6,000 Shias were slaughtered in Bamiyan near Mazar-e-Sharif in Afghanistan. And it was so described that they were taken to the madbah. Madbah means where the animals are slaughtered. And they were slaughtered the way halal animals are slaughtered. Believe me, myself and many like me just left the dinner and went away because it was not possible to eat anymore. This has happened in Afghanistan. If you remember, I had appealed for funds and you Mu'mineen gave me about 10,000 pounds then, which I sent to our agency in Tehran, in Qom. But I regret to tell you that the money has not yet reached refugees of Afghanistan, because the Taliban would not allow them to enter that place where the muhajireen, the refugees, are lying without food, without clothes, where the women have been violated and the children have been killed. As long as the roads are closed and the access is not there, that fund is lying in Qom with Ayatollah Sheikh Mehdi Al-Asif. And he rang me up that he has still not found any way of entering Afghanistan, but as soon as it becomes possible, the funds will be inshallah spent. While this is happening, Allah in His ultimate wisdom knows what is happening everywhere. In Bangladesh, nearly 10,000 houses of the Shias, Nashiris, Sadat and non-Sadat have been swept off. And we don't know how they are living at the moment. The latest contact tells us that you can do whatever you like, as much as you can, but there seems to be no limit to the requirement of Bangladesh. How much will you bring? 10,000 pounds? 50,000 pounds? You cannot. For when the heaven breaks, no pesh can be given to the heavens. This is how it is. Well, gentlemen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says, وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. And in the wealth that we give the people, there is a share and a right of those who beg and of those who don't beg. Some will come and beg from you and say, please help me out. Well, he has a right in my wealth. I give him. But there are some who are deprived, they can't even beg. This is what is happening in Bangladesh. And now for Bangladesh, because there is no other political hampering or any hurdle, we are thinking of sending a small delegation to Bangladesh with some money so that they could look after the Shia brethren and maybe, if necessary, even the non-Shia brethren, because it is after all a humanitarian relief. And all of you, whoever wish to pay whatever you can, may pay to the World Federation or to London Jamaat, and London Jamaat will forward the money to us. It can be a pound, it can be anything, but as soon as possible, so that we may be able to at least do our part of the duty. It may not be a full rescue. As I said earlier, the last Friday before I left for America, the Sharia, the religion that we are living with and practicing, is summarized in one simple line: performance of your duties before asking your rights. We may have our rights, but we don't ask our rights before we have performed our duty. When you have performed your duty, then you say that these are my rights. While we sometimes practice something quite opposite, that we ask for our rights before we perform our duties, and from there we create a problem. Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi in Nahjul Balagha says, I am surprised at the people who abuse this world. La tasubbu dunya. Don't abuse this world. Why are you abusing this world? وَلَا تَسُبُّ الدَّهْرَ. And don't say times are bad. Don't accuse the time. It is neither the world which is bad, nor the time. The times are the same, and so is the world. And then he says, but this world is a place where so many people do sajda. It's a place where so much of charity is given. It's a place where people display their virtue. It's a place where people live like human beings, helping each other. Why are you? It is not the world which is bad. If you have any complaint, it must be with Ahl al-Dunya, people of the world, Ahl al-Zaman, people of the time, not the time. The time does not change. We are living in a world which has been now, we are gradually being told that you are entering the new millennium. Everywhere you will find people organizing so many things in the name of new millennium. The only surprising factor is, for Muslims actually, that we entered the new millennium 17 years ago. And no one spoke about the new millennium. When we entered the 15th century of Hijrah, did you hear about the new millennium? It is now 1417, right? When we were entering Hijrah year, new calendar, did anybody speak about millennium? Not a single Muslim spoke about millennium. But now this is the new millennium. It is because the new millennium has posed some dangers. One of the dangers is the breakdown, total breakdown in your computer system. They have got to rectify it before it is too late. Otherwise your invoices, your checks, your accounts, everything will go haywire. Because the computer does not know how to recognize 2001. So people are now afraid of that. That 2000 might be taken for 1900 because you only show 0 and zeros. You don't show 19 there. So now every businessman and the governments and all that, all those are really worried about how are we going to deal with ourselves in the new millennium. A new book has come out which I just bought. The name of the book is The Vision. The Vision tells us what is going to happen in the new century which is coming up. There is so much of prediction, and it seems from that book which I read that the world is going to be a different world altogether. Different world altogether, when I mean, I say I mean it. You will have only one Muharram in the month of Muharram, only one. And the rest of the world can listen to that Muharram Majlis. There is no need to call the Maulvi. There is no need to tell Sayyid Sahib to feed him. There is no need to think about accommodation. One Majlis and the whole world can listen. If not the whole world, at least London. One Zakir reads the whole world, the whole of England, you can listen to him and benefit from his Majlis. You make a choice, that's all. Which Zakir you want to listen to. And so on, and changes after changes. When human beings will be produced in manufacturing plants en masse, that means just as you produce things, you see, commodities, matchbox, en masse, human beings will be produced like that, prototype of each other, cloned. When a wife will go to the superstore and make a selection of the genes for her new boy or girl that she wants. Blue eyes, brown hair, and so on. It will be on the shelf, you just make a selection. And so many new things coming up which you and I have never heard of. That is the type of world we are going to face. And in all this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and the Prophet said this will happen. Ahadith are there in which this have been mentioned, this will happen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, فَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَحْوِيلًا. Whatever changes you make, the way of Allah shall not change, for it will remain the same. If you create brutes, Aldous Huxley wrote in his book New Brave World about how to create children who are brutes, means they have no mercy in them at all, no human value. They are programmed in such a way that when they are produced in thousands, they are all brutes. He said, when we create those type of children, we will have created thousands of Hitler in one go. There is no mercy in them. They have been programmed such. You see, perhaps these will be the Yajuj and Majuj who have been mentioned in Quran and also in Bible. They'll have no mercy whatsoever. So what happened? وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. If you do not interfere with the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will have the way and you will have the type of life you live in. The day you interfere and disturb the system, you will have brutes. When you have the brutes, you will not be able to contain them. Albert Einstein wept and wrote in his will, had I known that I am going to give the theory of atom to monkeys and not man, I would have never revealed. After the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he wrote, if I had known this is going to happen, I would have never, at least I would not have revealed. Other scientists would have done it if they wished to. I thought I was giving this to human beings. What was the difference? The difference is you give to human beings something, a human being who knows his duty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he makes good use of it. But where a human being does not know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is what they call in Gujarati, Vandra Nahatma Nisrani. You give a ladder to a monkey, you know what will happen next. Well, this is what has happened, and it is continuing everywhere. Here in such a jungle of all these things, Quran reminds us only of hukuk. Do you want to have a pleasant life here and hereafter? Then you would have to guard the rights and duties of your life. Look, a magazine in my hand, and a young man reads a magazine, a woman also reads. He reads the magazine, a girl reads a magazine called Woman Only, or Woman's Only. And there, in Woman's Only, there are solutions. There is an agony aunt. You know who is an agony aunt? Huh? An old woman who tries to solve everybody's problem except her own. She is called the agony aunt. You have an agony, you write to her. And she is your aunt. She advises you what to do. Have you read though? Sometimes read, even if you are not a girl. Read the agony aunt answering the questions. If that is a type of living that the girl should adopt, married and unmarried, what type of living is it going to be? It's going to be hell on earth if Islam is to be adopted. And even those who do not adopt Islam, please don't be led away, my dear sisters, don't be led away by the glory and the glitter. It is all deceptive. There is no health and no wealth there, and there is no happiness. It is just glittering. You want happiness, you will not find anywhere on this earth except in the life which was led by Fatima Zahra. And I am not being too simplistic. I am telling the truth, the world has tried all that. Let me say this, for nobody dares say that a woman who was supposed to be the queen of the house has become a cheap lady of the society, where anyone can lay hands on her and have his pleasure for some time. That is not the way a woman is looked upon in Islam. A woman is haram in Islam, and that is the reason why there is a haqq. I have been saying this in every marriage, but this time I say seriously. In marriage there is a frivolity. There is some enjoyment and rejoicing, Sometimes we try to put it in a light manner. But upon us, we men, there is a haqq of the wife. There is a haqq of the wife. What is happening to this society? I just don't understand. Later, 250 shilling mahar na ja. 250 shilling mahar of Tanzania is equal to how many pounds? I don't think it will be even max 1 pound, does it? Take this 250 your mahar, go. After how many years marriage? 21. You have lived with her, you had children with her, and now you just give 250 shillings a go? Why? Because you consider her a chattel of sex. You had your life with her and go. And there is no authority which can do anything. There is no one who can say to that man that this is pure injustice. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that haqq of the wife, He will pay. If not here, hereinafter, when the wife will rise and say, he did not give my haqq. That day will be a more difficult day than today. Haqq. She has to be maintained. Even if she is rich. Here there are two incomes. There are two incomes. The wife is also earning, and so is the husband. The wife's income belongs to her. The husband has no right to ask. If she gives out of her pleasure for the maintenance of the family, that is her pleasure. Otherwise, you cannot force to say that you are earning, therefore you must contribute. You cannot. On the other hand, she can tell you that we will minimize our expenses and live simply. I will not part with my money. Oh. But to say that no, you must contribute, it's just not there in Sharia. It is hers. Now, for that reason, the right of proprietorship is given to a woman, and we are forgetting Islam altogether. If there is something serious, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says, وَإِن يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمْ. If they really are intent upon reconciliation, Allah will help them. Well, where the question is, it is reconcilable or not. If it is not reconcilable, then there are only two ways in Islam. Imsakun bil ma'roof. Just say in Quran Majid. There is no third way. Imsakun bil ma'roof aw tasrihum bil ihsan. Only two ways. Either you keep the wife in a nice way, or release her in a nice way. When you release also tasrihun bi ihsan, if it is not retrievable marriage, then also it is bil ihsan, not with zulm. Or if you can keep her, let it be, she is with you, again bil ma'roof. There can be no zulm because she is a... Now people say that the government is helping them and so and so. I am not concerned about the government helping them or the court helping them. I am only saying only one thing, that Islam has maintained an equality and balance. In the same way as her right is upon you, your right also as a husband is there. But it does not mean so much of domination. It ends in zulm. This is what I mean. The right of parents. Mother. As we all know, that although father and mother both are respectable, mother's rights seem to be more upon us than the father. If you look at Sharia the way Payghambar has explained. When he said, Wal jannatu tahda aqdamil ummahat. Jannat is under the feet of your mothers. And one Sahabi came to say, Ya Rasulullah, sometimes it so happens that my father calls me, and at the same time my mother calls me. Who should I answer to? The Prophet said, answer your mother first. So he asked again. He said, mother. And he asked the third time. The Prophet said, I told you, mother. You may go on asking me 70 times. My answer is same. Answer your mother first. It is not a new subject, but it is a burning topic today, in spite of having heard from Maulanas and ulama and allamas and all our brothers. When we read, yet we find that our dealing with our parents is so bad, as if they don't exist. There is a haqq. On the day of judgment, there is a haqq. The mother will rise and say, Ya Allah, I had a right over son of mine and my daughter, and this is how they dealt. The time has come when we hear stories of sons kicking the mother, pulling them by the hair as if she were her slave, slapping her. What is happening in society? It is mother, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Don't say even off. Something somewhere is going wrong. The parents themselves did not perhaps instill in the mind of the children as to what is happening and what should be done, how should they behave. 3 days ago, a young man comes to my office and says, Mullah Sahab, I would like to send my child to Islamic nursery school. I said, we have one here. And there are many others. He said, yes, I would like to. I was of a different idea altogether. I sent them to English or public kindergarten, thinking that they will learn English and rhymes and hymns and whatnot, and they will become I'm very soon acquainted with English language. I said, fine. What happened? He said, Mullah Sahib, today is the 3rd day. By the grace of Allah, my boy and my girl, both, they can speak 4-letter words, starting with F and S. 3rd day. He is coming from India. He's not really from here. Within 4 days, your son and your daughter can speak 4-letter words. This is the type of treatment and the type of education. And when the mother says, so-and-so, my son, will you have cereals or eggs? Mind your own business, mom. Mind your own business to mom. Well, where is that tradition which is based on Islam? I am not talking of Indian culture. I am talking of Islamic culture. Where is that Islamic culture? Where the boys and the girls at their tender age have not yet been taught how to say Salamun Alaikum when they rise up in the morning and come before father and say, Papa Salamun Alaikum, Mummy Salamun Alaikum. Kiss their hands and seek their blessings. That is one way of doing it. And this is another way of teaching our children. In Islam, there is something like collateral relation, which they don't have, you know. Suppose you have a son and daughter. Then that son and daughter has only one relationship, father and mother, that's all. There is called collateral family system in Islam. Mama, Masa, Kaka, Kaki, Masi, all who are these? They are collateral, they run in line. And they don't have the idea of who is Chacha, Chachi, Mamu, Khala. They don't have. We have. Our sons and daughters have got to understand that he is my Chacha and he is my Chachi. And if this brother is older than my father, then he is my, what we call Vada Bapa or Mota Bapa. That means he is my father's elder brother. They don't have the idea of collect. Then we have one far-flung relationship. That means the elders of this community who are sitting there, who are older than me, and my son sees them, he has also to respect them. Not because of blood relationship, but because of the age and because of the membership of the same faith. Not only that, even if it were Jews and Christians, they must be made to realize that there is a culture where an elderly person is respected. The way the Prophet ﷺ did. Where are we going? The Prophet Used to come to namaz definitely every time, on time, every day. One day he was late by a few minutes. The Muslims were all upset. Where is Rasulullah? Where is Rasulullah? As he appeared, some of them asked, Ya Rasulullah, khair, you are late today. He said, yes, it's a small lane. One Yahudi, very old man, was gradually, slowly passing. I could not proceed fast and go ahead of him because he's an old man and I'm young. So in respect of him, I allowed him to pass fast and I'm late for a few minutes. This is khulq Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Right? You have a sister and you rise, she's older than you, and you rise to say Salamun alaykum. They can't understand this. We have our own Islamic tradition, which is based on hukuk. If these hukuk are not understood, then the machines may create thousands and thousands of people, and the exterior may change, making us as comfortable as possible. My friend, the comfort that a man experiences in his life is not outside, it is within. Do you know that? If you want to become what they call sukhi, sukhi means happy, go and find out as many places as you can. You will never find anywhere. When you were young, there used to be Gujarati Barpoti. And in Gujarati Barpoti there was a lesson called Sukhi Manas nu Peharan. Sukhi Manas means one who is very happy. Peharan is the one who is the cloth that we wear. There was a very rich man, a Nawab, who became ill. He had what you call munjar. Nervous breakdown. In spite of all the wealth, he had nervous breakdown. This is typical of what we have these days. See, nervous breakdown. And the doctors treated him. Hukama came. One very old Hakim, he just waited his turn. When his turn came, he said, you have got an illness which can be treated only one way. Find a good cloth of a happy man. Wear it and you will be okay. As simple as that. Take a good cloth, a shirt of a happy man. Put it on. The moment you put it on, he didn't understand the underlying meaning. He thought this was a medicine. And he sent around all his ministers and soldiers and all in hunt of one shirt, and they never found one. For if they came to me and said, Mulla Sahib, tomari shati aap ho gayi, I'll give a list of how unhappy I am. Those who have children, they say, Enakata pana sara. Those who have no children, they say, I have no children. Those who have sons, they say, I don't have a daughter. Those who have only daughters, they say, I don't have a cash check. Those who have money, they say, yes, I have money, but I can't eat even one slice of bread. The doctor has told me not to eat that and not to eat this and all that. Ila mashallah. Everyone has one mercy of his own. So this is the problem I have. So there was no one. At last one man, one of his emissaries, he found a person sitting near the stream of water. Water was flowing, it was a beautiful scene. He saw a man with his feet dangling in water and he whistling. So this man was so happy, he said, now I have found a happy man. He has got nothing to worry. His feet in water and he whistled. Just as he bowed down to say, your cloth, please, he found he was naked. Just as he bowed down to say, Aapnu Peharan, he found he was naked. That means the full happiness lies in that. There is no happiness. Dr. Radhakrishnan said, if you are happy, if you really are happy, then you must be a genius or a madman. If you are really happy, then you must be a genius or a madman. In the middle, there is no road to happiness. And this is the reason why, my friends, you will not find happiness in the changing exterior. We may move from one place by aircraft, by even rockets. We may tomorrow go and live, inshallah, on the moon and Venus and Saturn and all that. We may have all the appliances and implements for making life easy, as they say. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमां लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. Your happiness lies here. And that is the reason why Allah says, Allah, bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. This is where the itminan qalb is, in His memory. If we live into the next millennium, inshallah ta'ala, and most of us, inshallah, will live. You remember my words, if I am there or if I am not there, that the world will change, but within you, the happiness will not come except when we follow the guidelines of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will not come. It's a challenge. Haqq. And finally, when I finish, I'm talking of these huquq, although there is haqq of Allah, there is haqq of nafs. Haqq of Allah, He will forgive. He may forgive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, it is for me to forgive. I may go tomorrow and say, Ya Allah, I tried. I prayed, but you know my prayers. And I sometimes slipped, made errors. I tried my level best to fast, but you know my errors. And He says, Ghafartu lak. I have forgiven. That is possible or not? That is why we are not supposed to pass judgment against anyone. We can't say this man is going to Jannat, this man is going to Jahannam. We can't say this. Because Jannat and Jahannam, they don't belong to us. They belong to He subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He wants to forgive, He can forgive. He may forgive for simple pretext, simple excuses and say, Ghafartu lak. There is one nafs of haqq of my own, where I have failed myself. There also there is a room for istighfar. That Allah may forgive me. But where it comes to haqqun nas, haqq of the others, there will be no forgiveness till the others forgive me. One of them is what I said, haqq of the wife. The other is haqq of the mother. And goes on, haqq of the father, haqq of the husband, haqq of the children over their parents, including what we speak against others, like ghiba. There is no istighfar. You can't say, Ya Allah, I did ghibat of so and so, please forgive me. He will not forgive. He can't. The answer will come back. Go to the person whose ghibat you did, seek forgiveness from him. If he forgives you, I'll forgive you. Now the question arises, came the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one man started talking against Salman Farsi. The Prophet said, stop. Where is Salman? Salman is not here. So stop. This is ghiba. He said, Ya Rasulullah, this is not ghiba because what I am telling you is the truth. The Prophet said, if it is the truth, then it is ghiba. If it is not true, then it is tuhmat. It is true, therefore it is ghibat. If it is not true, it is tuhmat, which is still worse. In both ways, Salman has got a right over you. You speak when he is present, so that he can answer you. But don't speak when he is not present. It could be wrong while you think it is right. And even if it were right, it is ghiba. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, suppose Salman dies tomorrow, and I didn't have an opportunity of going to seek forgiveness. Then the Prophet said, come, at least do istighfar for him as long as you are alive. Remember him in Tawbah, that Ya Allah, I seek forgiveness for Salman. I seek forgiveness for so and so whose ghibat I did. So this is haqqun nas. Now this is as far as talking is concerned. And the money, the Prophet said, that neck on the day of Qiyamah cannot be saved, upon which there is the money of the people still lying there, not paid. That neck cannot be saved. The money has got to be paid. Haqqun nas. So haqq. This was the way the Prophet showed us. The whole society was corrupt in his time. He showed a way of how to live peacefully and how to live a human Islamic life. Don't look at how the exterior changes, what will happen outside, what we eat and what we used to eat. All those are different things. They have got nothing to do with it. On the contrary, they have created problems. Look at how you behave and the way you live and the way Islam is practiced. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.